Like you already know what is Swiflearn. Swiflearn is the India's most sincere learning destination for classes 1 to 10. So it is the most sincere learning destination because we try harder, right? Okay. So what do we get over here? All the classes in Swiflearn are 100% live and interactive classes. Fine. So whenever you are having any sort of doubt, you can clear all your doubt in the classroom only. Okay. Now, secondly, our second feature is we give personalized attention to each and every students in our batches, right? Because our batches consist of maximum 6 students, not more than that. So that help us to keep a track and also give personalized attention to each and every student in our batches, right? Now coming to the third thing, most important thing is we have a very good dedicated mentor team who continuously keep a track on the student's progress, how the student is performing in the class, how they are understanding the chapters or the topics, or how they are performing the homework. Everything is tracked by our academic mentor team. And fourthly, which is very important, that we cover the syllabus as per your school examination schedule, and also we handle the custom request. Think that if you have any sort of problem or you want to take the classes of a particular topic before because you have it in your school exam, so we maintain that and we make you prepared by that topic, and then you can move on to the next topic. So this type of custom request we can handle, right? Now let us move on to the key features. So what are our key features? First of all, we maintain a detailed progress report of each and every students, and these are given to the parents of the students in different interval. It actually includes how you are performing in the class as well as how you are performing in the different test series in Swiflearn, as well as how you were doing the homework, or in which topic you need more focus on, or in which topic you were lagging. So everything is included within this progress report. Fine. Secondly, we have the Swiflearn academic test series, which we in short call the SATs, where you will be able to perform and you will be able to understand where you were ranking in the international level. Fine. Thirdly, you can take unlimited practice test after completing each and every topic, so that you will be able to understand where you are lagging, where you need more improvement, in which chapter you have to practice again and again, and you will be able to prepare yourself very good, and you will be able to score more in both the board exam as well as the school exam. And fourthly, you can practice the subjective test, where you will have to give the subjective answers. Our teachers will check them and you will be able to get the tips from the teachers, so that you will be able to give all the points in your subjective answers and you will score more, right? So these are our key features. So to experience all these features, you have to book the free trial class of Swiflearn, and you will be able to experience that one. Okay, so please book the free trial class and learn with us. Okay, so now what you have to do, please subscribe our channel in YouTube, press on the bell icon, and don't miss any sort of update about according means about the upcoming sessions in YouTube. Fine. Okay, so do stay with us, like, comment, and share with all your family members and friends. Okay, now this is all about Swiflearn, and now let us move on to the topic. So as I have already said that today is the second session of the topic windstorm and cyclone. We have already studied about a lot of thing about the wind, the air, and the different characteristic feature of the air in the previous session, right? So what are the things which we have already discussed over there? The main points are those that the warm air always move upward because it is lighter than the cold air, so it always move upward. And certain type of examples we have also discussed, like the hot air balloon, or you can think about the sky lantern, right? So it makes the lantern warm up, and this warm up air actually is the lighter than the cold air, and that is why it goes up in the upper layer of the atmosphere, right? And the main second thing which we discussed over in the previous session is that air always exerts some pressure, right? And that is why it creates certain zones which are having the high pressure zone, and it creates the low pressure zone in the different region on the earth's surface, right? And always the air blows from the high pressure zone to the region of the low pressure zone, right? So these are the main things which we have already discussed in the previous session. Now let us see what we will discuss today in today's session. So mainly today our learning objectives are, first of all, we will study about the uneven heating on the equator and the poles on the earth's surface. Fine. Secondly, we will study about the uneven heating of the land and water. This also we have discussed in short in the previous session. Okay, how the breeze or the how the air blows from land to water or from the ocean to land, right, in the different season. Okay. Thirdly, we will today discuss about the development of the monsoon wind. Okay. Fourthly, we will discuss about the causes of the thunderstorm, what causes the thunderstorm and how it happens. Fine. And fifthly, the most important thing, what are the different preventive measures or the precautions we have to take to avoid this thunderstorm and to avoid the danger of the thunderstorm. Fine. So these are our learning objectives for today's session. Okay, now let's begin. So as you already know that the earth is divided into the different circular lines, and the circular lines are known as the latitudes of the earth. Can you tell me what are the main latitudes? Yes, starting from the very beginning in the middle is having the equator, okay? Any other latitudes coming to your mind? Name of the latitudes? Yes. In 23.5 degree north, there is the Tropic of Cancer. 23.5 degrees south, there is the Tropic of Capricorn. And we can say that in the 66.5 degree north, there is the Arctic Circle. And 66.5 degrees south, there is the Antarctic Circle. Right, so these are the main latitudes over the Earth's surface, right? And 90 degrees the North Pole, and 90 degrees south is the South Pole. So these are the main latitudes which are dividing the different region on the Earth's surface, and accordingly we will study how the different temperature is created in the different latitudinal region and from where the wind is blowing to which region. Fine? Chalo. So can you first tell me what is the actual temperature which is felt in the different region on the earth's surface? Like think about the temperature condition in the equator and how it is different in case of the poles. Anybody, can you tell me? Yes. Okay, so in case of the equator, as they get the direct hit from the sun, it is more or less the tropical climate, or we can say that the temperature varies, which can be average or approximately nearby to 30 degrees centigrade, right? And if you go towards the pole, towards the North Pole as well as the South Pole, the temperature decreases, and in the very poles we can find it is chilled or the cold temperature, right? And in case of winter, in the poles the temperature can go below minus 30 degrees centigrade also. So there is always a temperature difference in case of the equator as well as the pole, right? Now, why this temperature difference is happening? Because of the uneven heating between the equator and the pole. So as you already see over here that the equatorial region is getting the direct heat of the sun, right? But in case of the pole, both in case of the North Pole and South Pole, the heat of the sun or the rays of the sun is landing and they are not getting the direct heat of the sun, and that makes the temperature in the North Pole and the South Pole colder than that of the equator. Fine, up to this much understood? Yes. Now in case of the equator, as it is getting the direct heat from the sun, it is becoming warmer, right? The air in the equatorial region is becoming warmer and becoming light obviously, and it will go upward, right? It will rise upward. But in case of pole, where the sunlight is less, the air around this North Pole as well as the South Pole is the colder air, right? It is not that much warmer. Okay. Now the region which are close to the equator receives the maximum sunlight. Already we have studied this, and that is why the hot air around this equatorial region will try to rise up, being lighter than the cold air. Yes, so the warm air rises above the cold air, and that is why the cold air will now move and take the place of the hot air where the air was present before, like in case of the equatorial region. Okay. Yes, so all the air around the pole is also colder, and that is why the air will try to come towards the equatorial region and takes the place of the low pressure zone. Fine, and this is the way the wind flows from the north and the south towards the equator, that is in the middle. Fine, up to this much clear? Yes. Now, let us now find out what are the winds which are flowing from the North Pole and the South Pole towards the equator. Okay, now as you can see that over here the equator is in between, and it is it is present in the 0 degree centigrade, we can say, right? And as it is present over here and having the warmer air, so the warmer air will move upward and it will create a pressure zone which we call as the equatorial low pressure zone. So I'm writing over here equatorial low pressure. So the pressure in the equatorial region is always low pressure. Okay. Now we have also studied previously that always the air moves from the high pressure zone to the low pressure zone. So that is why just the above places or the below places we can call over here, and the region we can say like over here is the subtropical region, we can say. Okay, and this subtropical region is having some high pressure. Okay, so this one is subtropical, we can say subtropical. Hi Aryan, hi Harsh, how are you? Okay, subtropical high pressure zone. Okay, and obviously this one is also subtropical high pressure zone. So as we have already studied in the previous session that the air always moves from the high pressure zone to the low pressure zone. So over here we can again see with the help of these arrows that the air is moving from the high pressure to the low pressure. So equatorial region is having the low pressure, and the subtropical region above it and below it are having the high pressure. So the wind will move from this subtropical region towards the equator, right? And this is how the wind flow pattern happens due to the uneven heating of the earth. Again, now coming to the region which is above it, okay, above the subtropical high pressure zone. It is known as the subpolar zone. Okay, subpolar zone, both above and below. Fine. Over here is also having the subpolar zone in the southern hemisphere. Now, what will be the actual pressure in this subpolar region? Hi, Aarti. How are you? Okay, you are Shravardhan. Okay, hi. Oh, you love Swiflearn. Very good. Thank you. Be with us. Okay. Chalo. So, what is the actual pressure region of the subpolar region? Can you say? Yes, it is the low pressure zone. And that is why you can see that from the high pressure region, that is in the subtropical region, the air is moving again towards the low pressure zone that is having in the subpolar region, both above as well as the below. Okay, the subpolar region below is also having the low pressure zone, and that is why the wind is moving from the high pressure region to the low pressure zone. Okay, and just at the North Pole and the South Pole, which is the 90-degree, we can say they are also having some high pressure. Okay, they are having the high pressure region, and that is why the wind again move from the high pressure region towards the subpolar low pressure region, similar in case of the southern hemisphere. Okay, so this is how the wind actually flows from the high pressure zone to the low pressure zone, creating the different types of winds. What are the different types of winds? The winds which is flowing from the subtropical region, high pressure zone towards the equatorial region, low pressure zone in both the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, they are known as the southeast trade wind and northeast trade wind respectively. Okay, and the wind which is flowing from the subtropical high pressure region to the subpolar low pressure region, we call them as the prevailing westerlies. Okay, these winds are known as the westerlies, both in the southern hemisphere as well as the northern hemisphere. Fine. And also another type of wind which is flowing from the high pressure zone at the North Pole and the South Pole respectively, and it is moving towards the subpolar low pressure zone. These winds are known as the easterlies. Clear hai? Because it is flowing from the northeast and southeast. So as it is flowing from the east region, so that is why it is known as the easterlies. So have you got an idea what are the different winds which are continuously flowing throughout the earth and how it is flowing from the high pressure region to the low pressure region? Yes, and this all happened due to the uneven heating of the earth's surface. Fine, up to this much clear? Hi, Abhinav, how are you? Okay, now let us move on to the monsoon season. So you have already understood that how the different pressure is created over there and how the wind moves from the high pressure region to the low pressure region. Likewise, the monsoon also happens, right? So we all like the monsoon season, right? We enjoy the rain, Hannah. But always do you think that the monsoon season is good? No, it can cause the danger also. Okay. Now, first you tell me what actually causes this monsoon season? Yes. Hello. Hi, Avinav. Yes, do you know Avinav Agarwal? I really don't know. Okay, you are my student. Okay, obviously you all are my students. Chalo. So what causes the monsoon season? Can you tell me? Yes? Okay. So the uneven hitting of the land and the water actually causes the monsoon. Okay. So as we have also discussed in the previous session that in the summer, what happens? The land warms up faster, right, than the seawater. And that is why the wind from the seawater, it moves towards the land, right? And this also happened due to the uneven heating of the land and water, which causes the monsoon. Okay, so as you already know that the air which is present on the earth surface or on the land, it becomes hotter and warm air rises up, and the cold air which is coming from the ocean, it moves towards the land, right? And this results in the monsoon wind. So along with the wind, it also carries the water droplets, right? And this wind come from the ocean, they carry the water droplets, which results in the rainfall during the monsoon season. Fine? Okay, and this causes the monsoon as well as the rainfall during the monsoon season. Okay, so now tell me, always does the rain comes up with the good things? Yes. Do you think that the rainfall is always good? Yes. No, right? So it can be dangerous sometimes, right? Many times the rain comes up with the thunderstorm, the cyclones, right? The typhoon, the tornadoes, and these are devastating, right? They create the devastating impact on the Earth's surface and very much destructive, right? So let us now find out what is thunderstorm and how it causes. Do you have any idea like how the thunderstorm happens and how does it cause? Yes, how does it develop on the earth's surface? Yes. Is there any idea? Yes. No. Okay, so let us see. Hear the sound of the thunderstorm. Yes. Yes, have you ever felt or heard this type of sound during the thunderstorm? Right? So, where does it actually happen? It actually develops in the tropical region where the temperature or the climate is most most of the time it is hot and humid, right? Like in case of India. Now over here what we know that the rising temperature produce the strong upward rising of the wind also, and as the land gets the direct sunlight it heats up very fast, and that is why the warm air goes upward, right? And this upward wind will carry the water droplets also upward, and when they will go to the upper region of the atmosphere they will freeze and fall down as the rain, right? Now this smooth or the swift movement of this falling down of the water droplets as well as the rising up of the air creates the lightning and the sound, and this lightning and the sound when it happens together it causes the thunderstorm. Fine. Understood now how the thunderstorm actually is caused or how it is created. The swift movement of the falling of the water droplets along with the rising of the air current creates the lightning and the sound which causes the thunderstorm. Clear hai? If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the chat box. Okay? Chalo. Now let us move on to what are the different precautions or the preventive measures which we have to take during the thunderstorm as well as the lightning. Do you have any idea about it? Yes. Can you tell me what are the preventive measures we can take to avoid this type of thunderstorm or to keep ourselves out from any sort of danger? Yes. Okay, first of all, we should not take shelter under the tall trees because the tall trees which are actually having a great height, they generally attract the lightning and which can pass on to us and very dangerous it is, right? So if you are present in the forest, so where will you take shelter? You have to take shelter under the shortest tree so that it will not attract the lightning and you will not be in danger or you will not be affected that much. Clear? Eh? Secondly, you should not use the umbrella because umbrella is having some metallic structure, right? So you have to avoid the metallic structure because metals generally attract the lightning and it can cause harm to you. है ना? Understood? Thirdly, do not sit near any open window or any open garages or any storage shed which is totally open and having the metallic shades. Okay, so metals are not at all safe during the thunderstorm because it attracts lightning. So you have to take shelter inside the building with a closed window and everything will be closed without coming in contact with the metal or any electric gadgets. Fine. And obviously, it is safe to stay within the car or a bus which is totally closed. Okay, it will prevent you from the thunderstorm. So these are the precautions or the preventive measures which we have to take during the thunderstorm. And if you are in the water or near the sea beaches, please go out of it and get inside a building so that you should not come in contact with the water, because if the lightning strikes on the water, uh, it can carry the electricity and you may get the electric shock, right? So that is why you should not come in contact with the running water. Fine. So these are the preventive measures which we have to take during the thunderstorm. Now, we have already discussed about all the different winds and how the winds are moving from the high pressure zone to the low pressure zone, and also how the thunderstorms are created. So I guess you have all understood by now what we have discussed, and I will now expect the correct answers from you. Are you all ready to give me the answers? Yes? Okay. So my first question is, which phenomena actually is responsible for developing the monsoon wind? Can you tell me what is the phenomena which is mainly responsible for the developing of the monsoon wind? Yes. Okay. So it is the uneven hitting of the land and water. This creates the developing of the monsoon winds, right? Okay. Now, can you tell me why does the Earth have uneven heating between the equator and the pole? Yes. Anybody in the chat box? Let me see who can give me the correct answer. Yes. Why does the Earth have uneven heating between the equator and the pole? Because the equatorial region actually get the direct heat of the sun. It is getting the direct sunlight and the warm air is created which goes up. And in case of the pole, what is happening? They are not getting the direct heat of the sun, rather they are getting the slanting rays of the sun, and that is why they are having the cold air which will move downward or upward towards the equatorial region, and this causes the uneven heating of the equator and the pole, right? Now let's move on to the third question. My third question is, what are the causes of the thunderstorm? Let me see who can give me the correct answer over here. What is the main causes of the thunderstorm? Yes, we have studied about thunderstorm and the danger which happens during the thunderstorm, right? Yes. Let me see who can give me the correct answer first. Okay, so the rising up of the temperature produce the strong upward rising of the wind, right? And this upward wind carry the water droplets with it, where it will go to the upper region of the atmosphere and then freeze and then again fall down, right? Now, the swift movement of this falling of the water droplets along with the rising up of the air current, they create the lightning and the sound. And this lightning and the sound actually causes the thunderstorm. Fine. Got the answer how the thunderstorm is caused? Okay. Now let us move on to the fourth question. What are the different precautions we should take during the thunderstorm? We have mentioned 4 to 5 precautions or the preventive measures which we have to take. Let me get at least 2 to 3 points from you. Yes, let me see who can give me the correct answer first. Yes, yes. What are the precautions we must take during the thunderstorm? First of all, we should avoid standing under the tall trees because the tall trees attract the lightning, okay, and it may cause danger to us, right? We should avoid using the umbrella because of its metallic structure, and the metals generally attract the lightning. Yes. Thirdly, we should take shelter under the short trees which are not that much tall and we can prevent ourselves, right? We should not stand under the shed, generally under the metallic shed, okay? And we should not come in contact with the running water, or if you are in the nearby the sea beach, don't go to the water, come back to the inside the building, right? So these are the different precautions or the preventive measures which we can take during the thunderstorm. Okay, so got all the answers? Yes? Okay, now let us move on to some of the fun facts. So, do you know that India's very first rain weather forecast was made on 4th June 1886? From 1871 till 2017, rains have been normal 98 times, while there were 25 drought years also. Okay, then let us move on to another fun fact, that is monsoons in India have a great impact on 850 million people who are depending on the farming, okay, and which contributes 16 to 17% to the India's GDP. What is GDP? It is the gross domestic product. Okay, it actually tells us about whether the economy is expanding or not. And the monsoon is defined as the real finance minister by most of the strategists of the finance sector. Okay, so there are an estimated 16 million thunderstorms across the globe every year. Fine. So these are all the different fun facts and extra information you have got. So let me give you one challenge of the day. Yeah. So today's challenge of today's session is, have you ever thought that what are cyclones and why these are so destructive? Yes. So this is the question to you. So you think and give me the answer in the chat box. We will mainly discuss about the cyclone in the next session. Fine. Okay, let me see who can give me the correct answer of the cyclone. Now let us move on to some activity. So let us play with some of the question answer. Are you all ready for that? Yes? Okay. So let me see. What is the first question to us? Our first question is, thunderstorm develops very frequently in areas having which type of climate? Polar climate, or tropical climate, or temperate climate, or desert climate? Let me see who can give me the correct answer first. Thunderstorm develops very frequently in which region or in which type of climate? Yes, we have studied it today only. Yeah, it is the tropical climate. Let us check. Yes, it is the tropical climate, right? Okay, let's now move on to the second question. So the second question is, you have to answer true and false, right? So the uneven heating of land and water in winter, it brings little rain in winter, the northwest and colder land. Okay, so is the statement true or false? Yes, what do you think? Is the statement true or false? Yes, it is true, right? Let us check it. Yes, it's the true statement. Now let us move on to the third one. So you have to fill in the blanks where you are having one missing word. Dash expands on hitting. Actually, what expands on hitting? Yes. Can you tell me what actually expands on hitting? Okay, let me try this answer with you all. Yes, I think air expands on heating, right? We all know this, right? So let us check. Yes, so air expands on heating. Always keep it in mind, right? Now let us move on to the fourth thing. So over here is the match the following. So you are having some words over here like tornado, anemometer, cyclone, meteorologist, and typhoon. And there are certain conditions which are given in the right hand side. You can find it. So you have to match both of them. So what will be the exact phrase which will match with tornado? Yes. What is tornado? What do you think? Isn't it a dark funnel shaped cloud? Yes. I think it's the dark funnel-shaped cloud, right? Now let us move on to the anemometer. What is the anemometer? What actually it does? What do you think? It measures the speed of the wind. Do you think the same thing like me? Yes? Okay. Now let us move on to the cyclone. What is the cyclone? What actually it does? Do you think that it reduces the soil fertility? Yes? Okay. Now let's move on to meteorologist. What do they do? Yes, they study the weather, right? Okay, I also think so. They study the weather. Okay, and last one is the typhoon. So what is actually remain? It occurs where? In the Western Pacific region, right? It actually occurs in the Western Pacific region. Okay, let us now check whether we have done all of them correct or not. Yes, yes, all of them are correct, right? So how much have you got? You have got 8 out of 8. Very good. Okay, now let's move on to the conclusion of today's session. We have what we have already studied in today's session. We have studied about the uneven heating on the Earth's equatorial region as well as the polar region on the Earth, and also the uneven heating of the land and water, and how the different wind or the breeze causes, and how the air blow from one region to another region due to the uneven heating of the earth's surface, right? Thirdly, we have discussed about the development of the monsoon wind. Yes. Fourthly, we have discussed about what causes the thunderstorm and how actually it is caused and what actually happens during them. Okay, and fifth, the last thing which we have already mentioned, that is the precautions which we have to take during the thunderstorm to avoid any sort of danger, right? So all of you, I hope you have understood whatever we have discussed in the session, right? Yes? Okay. So thank you very much for being with Swiflearn. Stay with us and we will come to the new session in the next day again. So before going, please subscribe our channel, press the bell icon and never miss any of the update of the upcoming sessions of YouTube. Right? So do like, comment and share with all your friends and family members as well as relatives, and stay with us. So we will again meet in the next session. So till then, bye bye, take care, stay safe.